What's going on, guys? My name is Ted, and today I've got a G36C MOAB for you on the map Dome. I was doing a little bit of demolition with my friends, and I got pulled off a nice MOAB with this gun. This is a no attachments, no proficiency MOAB, meaning that I thought the G36 was a pretty good gun anyways. Decided to add myself a little bit more challenge and not use any proficiencies or attachments for this gun. This is a completely raw, bare G36C. I have no extra advantages with this gun until I get the specialist bonus and I get some of the proficiencies. But no attachments throughout the entire game, and I hope you guys enjoy that and respect that a little bit more. And drop me a like for that too, that'd be awesome. So I've been doing a lot of the MOABs recently, and I feel like people have pretty been worn out on all the MOAB talk and talking about what perks to use, how I maneuver the maps, things like that. I've done Dome a couple times, I've done Seatown a lot, so I'm going to stop with the talk about the MOABs. If you want to watch how I get them and things like that, and some tutorials, watch my previous episodes, and you'll be able to see all that. But I'm really going to do a story time this time. So Dome was the first map I ever played on. When I got MW3, I brought it home on release night. About 3 o'clock in the morning, I ended up playing Dome for my first game, and I went 10-0. It was pretty crazy start to MW3. I ended up with a 10 kill death ratio. I actually took a picture of that, and my kill death ratio has never been so good after that. But anyways, so the release night was a little bit crazy for me. Let's go ahead and delve into the story. So at about, I'd say 11 o'clock or so, well, I started a little bit earlier than that. At about 7 o'clock, I went with a couple of my friends. We went to Ruby Tuesdays for dinner, because MW3 is no small deal. This is a huge thing in my life especially, and then a couple of my other friends' life too. So we celebrated at Ruby Tuesdays to start out with, and then we went over to well, they went home, and I picked them up around 11 o'clock, and we all went in my car down to GameStop for the midnight release, and we were stoked. We all had this game pre-ordered, and we were just talking about it endlessly. It was awesome. I couldn't wait to get this game. And there, I guess one of my friends gets a MOAB there, so I didn't even remember that. But anyway, so we were at GameStop, right? And the line was ridiculous. There was about, I'd say, 2,000 people at this GameStop in particular. I live in Charleston, and there's only one GameStop within about 30 or 40 miles of us, and every single person, it seemed, from that 30 or 40 mile radius was there. It was a ridiculous number of people that were there at this GameStop. And the line was ridiculous. This is the first midnight release that I've ever been to. I wasn't really into Call of Duty too much for MW2, or a little bit for Black Ops, but not nearly as much. But I made sure I was not going to miss this release. So we get there and we go to the front of the line to make sure that we can get our little slips for buying the game. We'd already pre-ordered the game, and we just had to get our little wristbands so that when we go in for the game at midnight release, they could just hand it to us. We don't have to buy it again, or it's just a lot faster for them to go through the line. And then we get to the back of the line, and I mean to tell you, this is a whole shopping center, and we completely wrapped around the shopping center in this line. It was ridiculous how big this line was. And we were sitting there talking with everyone, and these guys were all like 40-year-old virgins in the line. Like it was pretty pathetic, honestly. I was like, I don't want to be this when I grow up. But anyway, and the guys, like a couple of the guys were really creepy too. So we moved our spot in line a couple times. But it was a fun night, and when we finally got to the front, we played a little bit of what's that? Spec Ops. We played a little bit of Spec Ops when we were waiting in the line. And because they had the store open, and you could play some of the survival mode, and it was fun. It was our first look at MW3 really, and then we finally got to the front line. We're like, oh my gosh, we're finally getting our hands on Modern Warfare 3, and then I go in and I get the game. We're like, oh my goodness, like it was so surreal because I'd spent the last 5 or 6 months waiting for that game, ever since my birthday when it got released on May 26th. When the first news of it got released on May 26th, I was stoked for that game. I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be amazing. And then I actually had my hands on the game. Like the feeling of that was incredible. And needless to say, we were pretty excited to go home and play this game, but a little too excited. So on the way home, we were driving down the interstate, and there was a part of this interstate where it drops off from being an interstate to you take a right turn and it goes into a civilian neighborhood or whatever. And we were going a little too fast. I was still going 50, and the speed limit apparently was 35, as the cop let me know. And I see these flash lights in my rearview mirror. I'm like, shit! Like I got pulled over. And it was my first speeding ticket ever, so I was like really nervous because I've never really talked to a cop before. And he was a really nice guy. He comes to the door and he's like, "You were going a little fast over there." I'm like, "Yeah, I know," but like at least we weren't like drinking or anything. Like that's what he thought we were doing, because we're a bunch of teenagers out on a Tuesday night at like 3 o'clock in the morning, all with big smiles on our faces. We were ready to play this game, and he thought we had all been like drinking. He's like, "You haven't been drinking recently, have you?" I'm like, "No, absolutely not." And thankfully, he didn't like search us or anything, but we didn't have anything else anyways. We're like, yeah, we just got back from GameStop for midnight release. He's like, oh, okay, I understand. But anyways, I get a $237 ticket that night, which was absolutely ridiculous. It's more money than I ever had at that time. And I ended up going to court later on, and this is why I wanted to wait, because I just went to the court date recently. And the cop showed up there, And here's the thing, guys. I got really lucky for this. It was a $237 ticket. But I was talking to people at my church, and I was like, yeah, I got this this court date for coming up. And this lady at my church was like, well, hey, I'm an attorney, and my boss is free that day. Why don't we get my boss to come up and show up in court with you that day? I'm like, that'd be awesome. So I walk into the courtroom for a fucking speeding ticket into the traffic court, and I've got an attorney, and I'm wearing a suit and tie, and I'm a 17-year-old. Like, I blew away the cop and the judge both, and I just gotten back from a cruise because I had to get a continuance for that, and they were like, wow, what the hell? And they ended up dropping the speeding ticket. I get a 9-month countenance, which is where if I don't get anything more for 9 months, like any other traffic violations for 9 months, then it completely gets erased. The fine got dropped. It was absolutely amazing. So anyways, it was a good end to that story. Anyways, guys, that's the end of this gameplay. I did get my MOAB with the G36C and went on a little bit more of a tear afterwards. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't already, subscribe. I post more gameplays every single day. And also like the video if you can, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.